Welcome to the Spinoso Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Spinoso. My expertise is in multiple 7, 8, and even 9-figure medical companies, and I'm here to share exactly how I did it. This is not a podcast where I tell you, you should do this. This is a podcast where I tell you what I did. I want to help you build your business, take ownership of your life, and become a better leader at home and at work. So guys, let's get into it today. You ever feel like you're a little too psycho to be leading a business? I fucking have this problem all the time. I think I am an absolute nutcase, and that's okay. Like, when you're thinking about yourself though, if people saw the highlight reel of your teenage years, they'd probably question how the hell you ended up in charge of anything, right? Look, I get it too. I went to an all-boys high school called Jesuit. That's all it was called. It wasn't Jesuit something, Jesuit, no, it was just Jesuit. The Latin motto was men for others. But me, I was a man for detention. Or at least that's what they called it there. JUG. J-U-G, justice under God. In senior year, I pulled the stunt of the century. I got caught flipping the shocker in every single club photo of the yearbook. All 120 of them. Of course, I had accomplices and friends. They brought extra t-shirts for their club so I could be in their club picture, and every single club picture, except for the all-female ones, I was in. Right in the front, throwing up the shocker. Now, they didn't notice this until they ordered the yearbooks and received them. $40,000 later, they had to reprint the entire thing. My parents almost had a heart attack, and the principal, a priest, called me into his office, red-faced, sweating. But that wasn't the end of it. During one of the final masses of the year, one of my colleagues got in trouble for throwing up photos of the shocker in the slideshow during church. And now while he was sitting there in the principal's office, I was walking past, and Lord knows, I don't know why, the windows were actually glass from floor to ceiling. And I could see clearly principal there, and I could see clearly my friend there who was in trouble. And I knocked on the glass, waited till they both looked at me, and I threw up the shocker in defiance. Now, immediately I got yelled at. I got pulled into the office. I sat down with the priest. I had my father called in, and the priest said, "What the fuck were you thinking?" Yep, a priest, a Jesuit priest, cussing at me. And I said, dead serious, history. They wanted to suspend me, expel me, and maybe exorcise me. But for whatever reason, my dad was able to help convince that priest to let me slide. At that moment, he could have ruined my life for the rest of history, but he didn't. And that moment stuck with me for the rest of my life, because that man saw something I didn't yet understand. The same qualities that make you a pain in the ass as a kid, defiance, curiosity, risk, are the same ones that make you a leader. They just need direction. Now, we talk a lot about discipline, systems, scaling, and all that matters, but let's be real. Most entrepreneurs didn't get here because they were a model student. They got here because they were allergic to conformity. Think about it. They were unhireable. Steve Jobs got fired from his own company because he refused to play nice. Richard Branson dropped out of school and started selling magazine ads out of a church basement. Elon Musk slept on the floor of his office because no one believed his ideas would work. Muhammad Ali was hated for his defiance before he was honored for his greatness. Lady Gaga was called too weird, too bold, too sexual, and until her too much became her brand. These aren't balanced, polite people. They're obsessive, relentless, and restless. They are rebels who gave their rebellion a purpose. You see, that's the shift. It's not about changing who you are, it's about channeling who you are. Rebellion without purpose, that's just fucking chaos. But rebellion with purpose, that's power. That's how movements are made. And you probably felt it before, that part of you that just can't sit still, that questions authority, that wants to rip the lid off the box everyone else lives in. That's not a flaw. That's just raw energy. It's nuclear if you know how to aim it. Now, the world tells you to tone it down, be humble, be agreeable, but the world was built by people who refused to do any of that bullshit. People who got thrown out of rooms, laughed out of meetings, and still came back swinging. I still laugh about that yearbook because it reminds me of what the priest didn't say out loud. He may have saw a future founder. He saw a kid who cost the school 40 grand might one day build something worth 40 million. And he was right. Because the same instinct that made me want to shock the system, literally, is the same instinct that drives me to build one, to challenge, to create, to move fast when everyone else is hesitating. It's that edge that makes you see opportunity where others see risk. It's that voice that says, what if, when everyone says, don't. So if you've ever felt like you're too much, too wild, too outspoken, too defiant, I want you to understand something. Every visionary sounds insane before they sound inspired. Every empire starts with a rule breaker who learned how to focus their fire. Walt Disney was told that he lacked imagination. Fucking think about that. Oprah got fired from her first TV show. Einstein's teachers said he'd never amount to anything. Every single one of them was too much for the system that tried to contain them. So, maybe you're not crazy. Maybe you're just early. Maybe you are a little crazy. But maybe the thing that got you detention at 17 is the same thing that'll make you unstoppable at 39. Don't suppress it. Refine it. Don't apologize for your intensity. Don't apologize for your insanity. Learn how to aim it. Because the world doesn't need more obedient leaders. It needs builders who know how to harness their own madness. The principal of my high school, the Jesuit priest who probably still has nightmares about that yearbook, was right to let me go. Because what he didn't realize was that his mercy didn't just keep me in school, it gave me permission to turn chaos into creation. And that's what every entrepreneur has to do. Take your madness, give it a mission, and turn your rebellion into results.